G'day again. This time we're back to basic algebra part 2. So this time we're going to look at factorising, and we'll start with the easiest stuff. The easiest stuff is to take out a number. So if we look at this one, we've got 3x plus 3y. What's common there? Well, pretty obviously the 3. So let's take it out the front. So we get 3x plus y, and you're done. You have factorised that into that. Let's look at the next one. What's common there and there? Well, not the letters, just the numbers. Now, what number goes into 3 and 6? Well, again, 3. I've made it pretty easy for you. So take out 3. And what do we get here? We can't just put the y, you've got to put 2y. Because if you go backwards, and you go 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 2y is 6y. Okay, so I'm only taking out a factor of 3. And the key for factorisation is multiplication. Okay, that is your key. You're looking at what you can multiply to take out. So you're not going 3 plus 3. Okay, that's not what you're doing. You're doing 3 multiplied by 2 to give the 6. So multiplication is your key. Let's look at the next one. So what's common here and here? Well, none of those numbers are common, are they? You can't put 8 into 12 or 12 into 8. They're not common. So you have to look for a number that goes into both. And what number is it? Well, pretty obviously 4. So if we take out 4 out of here, what do we multiply by? We're going to multiply by 2x. 4 times 2x, 8x, and you're back to where you started, which is what you want. Minus, notice I'm keeping the sign every time the sign doesn't change. Okay, make sure you keep the sign too. 4 times what is 12? Well, 3, and you've got a y, 3y. So we've factorised each of those, and that's it, you're done. G'day, back again. So part 2, instead of taking out numbers now, we're going to take out letters. So if you look at this one, we're going to factorise it. What's common? Well, none of the numbers. You can't touch the numbers. The only thing that's common is that x. So let's pull it out. We get x. We're going to leave the rest in. So we're going to 8 times x, so put in the 8. The sign stays the same. And 7y. And that's it. You're done. Next one. What's common there and there? Again, the numbers can't come out the front. The only thing that's common is the a. So let's pull the a out the front. So we get a, 5b minus, well, what's left over? 9c. And notice again, I have kept the sign the same. So the sign doesn't change, and I can't join these together. I can't magically fruit salad them together. These are the only things that were fruit salad, and I've split them up by taking out something common, like taking out a cherry or something like that. Okay? G'day, back again. Okay, so part 3. This will be the hardest part of factorising, where they take out numbers and letters. So to start with, we'll make it really obvious. What's common? Well, the 3x. So let's pull 3x out the front. And what's left over? Well, 3x times what gives 3x? 3x times 1. That's pretty easy, but that does tend to trick students sometimes. Plus, I've taken out 3x, so I'm only left with the y. And that's it. Let's look at the next one. The a's are common, so they can come out, but this isn't common unless you only take out the 5, because that's a common factor. So we can take out 5a. What have you got left here? Well, this bit's easy. You're left with just b. So that bit should be pretty straightforward. Minus, now this is the harder bit, where you've got to actually do 3 times 5. Remember, what's our word? Multiplication. Okay, our word's multiplication. We can multiply this by 3c to get back. So this is by 3c. Notice the sign staying the same, haven't changed it. Okay, 3c times 5a gives 15ac. Go over to this one. What's common? Very similar to here. We can take out a factor that goes into both. Now here you could look at it and go, well, there's a 5 there, and take out the whole of the 5. Here you can't. You've got to think, I can get a 3 into that and a 3 into that. So I can pull out 3. I can also pull out x squared. Now I can take x squared all the way out the front. And then what am I left with? Well, 3x squared times what is 6x squared? Well, times 2. My sign stays the same. 3 times 5 is 15. And now I've got x squared out. X squared times x is 15x squared. And you're done. G'day, back again for the fourth part. So you'll notice these two look very familiar because I've already done them before. But I'm going to show you something that I did which you need to do. So for this one, when I first did it, I took out the highest common factor. Right? When I did it, I looked at this and I went, what can we take out of this? And I thought, oh, it's obvious we need to take out 4. Now when you do it, you could look at that and say, well, 2 goes into it as well, and it does. So let's take 2 out and we get 2 times what? Well, 2 times 4x, right? 2 times what? Well, 2 times 6y. And you could say, yes, I factorise it, and yes, you have. But in a test, you're only going to get half marks because you haven't fully factorised it. There's still 2 that can go in there, can't it? Right? 2 goes into that and that. So let's take 2 more out, and you'll have 2 multiplied by 2 times 2x minus 3y. 2 times 2 is 4. Now that's what I did to start with in the first question. And that's where you need to be. So you may do this, and I'll go, oh, that's great, well done. But we're only going to give you half marks because you haven't fully factorised it. And I did the same thing over here for this one. When I looked at that, I went, okay, what can I take out? Well, I immediately took out 3. Well, that's the biggest number. You can't take a bigger number. In fact, you can't take any other number other than 3 out. So that's pretty obvious. But when you look at the x's, well, I can take 1x out. So let's just take 1x out. And what am I left with? Well, I'm left with 2x plus 5x squared. And yes, you've factorised it, and you've taken one of each of them out. But you haven't fully factorised it. You've still got another x in there that you can take out as well. So what you should get is you should take the other x out and get 3x squared times 2 plus 5x. Okay, now I didn't explain that the first time, but this time I am, so you can be aware. You've got to fully factorise it, take out the highest common factor.